We'll be learning a very interesting Mishnah, the subject that is interested for everyone. And this is all people, they're asking about this as they live their lives, and they're puzzled. So basically, Rabbi Yanai, it's Mishnah Pirkei Avoth, Perek 4, Mishnah 15. Rabbi Yanai Omer, Ein biyadeinu lo mishalas harashaim ve'as ol miyasirei hatzadikim. We don't know. It's not our hands to explain the reason, either of the security of the wicked or even afflictions of the righteous. This is a very same question that Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem. When Hashem asked Moshe, ask me what you wish. And Moses may say, ask why good things happen to bad people. What's the secret? And Hashem, so to speak, we have an explanation that is given that Hashem showed him the back of his head tefillin. Many times we don't understand when things happen when we are there, but in retrospect, we can understand how things work. And we have a famous discussion between Eov and his friends. And Eov, Job, the personality in the Chumash that is famous for all the trouble that happened to him. And by his life and by his discussion with his friends, he's trying to solve this question for us. So when Hashem showed Moshe Rabbeinu the back of his tefillin, he kind of explained it to him that there is no time for Hashem. There is no present, there is no past, and there is no future. In Hashem's world, everything is understood and clearer, and we know why it's happening. We have a very famous story about Maharam of Rothenburg, who was the greatest tzaddik, and he was put to prison by the owner of the land, who was, let's say, Burgermeister, or he was some type of authority in the land. And he put him in the prison, and he tried to collect a big ransom for him so he can solve his financial issues. And his son-in-law tried to ransom him, start collecting money and trying to maybe go him free. But we have a halacha in Jewish law that rule that tells us if goyim trying to collect money, if they're gonna repeat the same trick that for collecting money for making us suffer, it's gonna just make things worse. Meaning you give him a ransom right now, and tomorrow he's gonna put me in prison right back, or he kidnap another person and do the same. So he forbade him to do it. And until the rest of his life, Maharam of Rothenburg had to be in prison, and his son-in-law, to be able to learn with him, he would bribe his prison guards, and he would get in, and he will learn with him. And until his death. And when he died, the prince of the land was so mad, so he didn't let the Jews to have a body of Maharam, and he basically buried him in a prison yard along with other people that was buried there. And a little bit while after that, there was one Jew who wanted to make sure that Maharam has a proper burial, and he agreed with the people in charge of the prison so that he's going to get the body, and he is buried in a Jewish cemetery. And basically they came to agreement, and he was able to exhumate the body and put it to proper burial in the Jewish cemetery, which is very extremely important. And that Jew received in his dream a message from Aram. Basically, he appeared to him and said, choose what you want. Make a wish. And he gave him a couple of options to make it easier. He said, you're either going to be in Gan Eden, in Shemaim, next to me, or you, your descendants, and everyone ever after will be rich. None of your family, none of your descendants ever gonna experience financial issues. And this holy person, this holy Jew said, I'm gonna be next to you. Money is not important. He already sold his house and all his possessions to be able to bury Maharam of Rothenberg in a proper place. This would happen. And I heard this story for Rabbi Yitzchak Zilber. When he was telling this story, he said, I would choose the money. And everyone was laughing. Why? Because you can do so many good things with money. You can do so many mitzvahs. So it's for everyone to decide when opportunity presents itself. And so we learn from the story of Eve that nothing happened by itself. When Eve was suffering, and one of his friends reminded him of that story, he said that once upon a time you were an advisor in a Pharaoh's court, and when you were there, Pharaoh was trying to find ways to kill the Jews, and he decided he's gonna drown little Jewish boys. And the other person who was there, Israel, said, no, 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 stop it, don't do it. And his reward was in this world that he was able to marry his daughter, Zipporah, to Moshe, and his other daughters to the great leaders in Israel. And he has a lot of inheritance until now among the Jewish people. But Eve, the story goes, went silent. So because of that, this is could be possibly your punishment. We still don't know. There is no recipe and there is no answer that is given in this world. I also heard a beautiful story about one holy woman that when trouble besieged her and she was basically suffering and struggling, and she was very upright, extremely righteous woman, people would come and say, why is this happening? Why are you suffering? And she said, that's already was happening when she was very old and very weak, and she also had a lot of wonderful things happen in her life. And even thought, she had, I think, probably 8 children, 7 boys and one little girl, the youngest one. All her boys were vanished and killed in Kiev during World War II. And she still never asked this question, but the girl survived. And she said, when my children were killed, I never asked Hashem why this happening to me. When my husband was put in prison and we were left with my little Dora not having anything to eat, and we didn't even know, I didn't know, she said herself, if I'm a widow or my husband is still alive for a long time. I didn't ask that. Why? Because if person feels injustice and he prays to Hashem, trying to answer the question, to say, "Oh, you have a question? You really want to get an answer? Not a problem. We'll accommodate." So as a result, person dies, and when he comes upstairs, he can see the clarity and he understand what happened. But before that, none of us can have this clarity. And we have also very interesting. What is a message or a story that we learn from Esav. We know when Yaakov came from Ramnaraim and he was very wealthy, he gave a lot of gifts to Esav. And Esav, as we know, his heart is unsatisfiable. And Yaakov asking that I would like to have a burial place. I would like to be buried next to my parents. And the story goes that he actually already sold this place when he sold his birthright. But still, to make sure that they're clear on that, Yaakov offered him a lot of money. And Yaakov was, Esau was puzzled. He didn't know what to do. So he went to Navayot, who was the son of Ishmael, and asked him advice. What should I do? I'm already very successful. I have everything I need. I have wives. I have children. I have wealth. I have honor. I have prestige. What do I need more money for? Maybe I should still keep something for the future world. Maybe I have this wonderful place. And Navayot said to him, no, you don't understand. money, still have a power. You can still do it. You can do something with them. You can enjoy yourself, whatever you do. And Esav took this advice, and that's how he acts. So from that we can learn that even though tzaddikim may suffer in this world, in a future world they can, get reward. And Rishoim, the bad people, get all the reward in this world, but when they come upstairs, there's nothing left. They have no credit coming anymore. And that's how we should basically try to live our life. We try to fulfill our original idea and inspiration, as they say, when a person neshama come to this world, and right before coming in, angels basically makes the neshama swear. You want to be righteous. You're going to do the right thing. You don't want to be wicked. You don't do the bad things. And neshama says, "Yes, I do." I wish everyone and myself continue to stand strong in that and continue to do mitzvahs, and don't ask too many questions, that we can continue looking for them and look for answers. Good luck. L'chaim.